Internet peeps, and welcome to another edition of Big Trouble Podcast. I'm Joe Dubs.
I am Andy.
I'm Zach.
And yes, I do have a cold, so that's why I sound very stuffy. But we are here doing the final Indiana Jones movie, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Probably one of the longest title of the four, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, because when I was typing it in on Twitch and Mixer, they're like, this is way too long to put on it as a title. And I was like, alright, whatever.
Indy Jones, King O, Christ Skull.
The one with the alien in it.
And Shia LaBeouf. But before we get into that, what have you guys been playing and watching? I'll start with Andy.
I drove to a fancy theater and I saw a South Korean movie called Parasite. It's a dark comedy, thriller, horror. I don't know what it is. It's a really good movie. If you get a chance to see it, do it. But you probably won't because it's a foreign movie and they don't get a lot of releases domestically. But it's fantastic. Samurai Cop. Oh, Samurai Cop. I love Samurai Cop. It's the best bad movie. It's not my favorite bad movie, but it's one of the best bad movies. Zach and I watched NXT War Games. I'll let him talk more about that than me. And I watched Suicide Squad randomly. You know, the DC movie. I know I've said on the show several times I haven't seen it. Maybe I would, but probably wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriend and I were at Walmart. We were like, I don't know, you want to watch a movie? I guess. And we just went to the $5 bin, and it was in there. And we were both like, I don't know, I've never seen this. So we got it and watched it. And neither of us loved it. It's okay. It's got its moments, but
Yeah, I think what was really stupid of it is I was tired of, and I don't know the characters' names, but I just know the actor's name. The Will Smith character?
Deadshot.
Yeah, didn't care.
Oh, really? He was one of the few that I actually did kind of like. Like, his is the only character that has any development.
Mm-hmm. The others I didn't really care.
I hated that Harley Quinn was there. I don't understand. Like, I get it. I understand why she's in the movie, like, from a in real life perspective, because the character is really popular.
Mm-hmm.
And Margot Robbie does a really good job as that character. But, like, the in-universe reason why they chose her, I don't really get.
I just don't like the edgy look to it. Like, each character had, like, their own edgy, like, dark kind of... And I get it, they're villains and stuff, but, like... Yeah. Harley Quinn, I didn't really like the costume. She does a really great job with voice and personality, but the costume, I was like, that's not Harley. Harley's in that, like, jester kind of clown outfit and all that.
They even tease it. Like, she holds it up at some point, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was fun.
That costume's been phased out a while ago now, actually. But honestly, I don't know. Deadshot was pretty much on point to his comic book appearance.
Yeah, I liked Deadshot. I wish they would have cut out some extra characters and given more development to Deadshot. I think I would have liked the movie more.
Would you guys want a Deadshot movie, or just it would have to be Suicide Squad?
No, I don't think he's good enough for a standalone movie.
No, they did it right. They need to put him in there, but all the other characters need to be more. I mean, they were supporting characters pretty much, but.
Oh,
I don't know. It was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. Whatever.
Zach, we'll go with you since you and Andy did watch NXT War Games. I mean, we'll go into deep discussions on Getting Some Color, which we will be recording tomorrow. So remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched Samurai Cop with him, and we also watched Crystal Skull after NXT War Games for a good palate cleanser. And what else have I watched? I recently did a trial of the DC Universe app, and I've been watching season 2 of Titans.
Oh, is that the one with Rob? Like, is it the cartoon or is it the live action?
No, it's live action.
Is that the one where he said "fuck Batman"?
Yeah, honestly, that trailer is awful. It's an awful representation of what the show's like. It's probably one of the worst trailers I've ever seen for anything.
But so they're doing the season 3, correct?
I think so, yeah.
And without like spoiling it, something with Robin happens where he kind of levels up to a new outfit. That's kind of a spoil, but whatever.
I mean,
So he's
people
Nightwing.
know when they start watching the show, he's not Nightwing. In fact, he's not even really Robin anymore. He's just Dick Grayson.
Hmm.
And there's stuff about that. But yeah, in season 2, I mean, if you're on the app, you see like the last episode of season 2, he's Nightwing. So eventually he gets his shit together and he becomes Nightwing.
Cool.
Yeah, that's basically the whole premise, I think, of this.
Well, is the show any good? Because there's a lot of Teen Titans comics I like, but
The show is pretty good. It's a little different though. Like the portrayal of all the characters and stuff like that. Some of them are pretty close. Just keep in mind it's an adaptation. Like if you're one of those sticklers, it's all like it's not like in the comics, and you're probably not going to like the show. But if you don't care about that, and you just you want something that's close, and it's like, what's the point of doing all this stuff if they're going to be the exact same character every time?
well, what's the tone of it? Is it like dark and gritty, like DC loves?
It's a bit darker. There's a lot of cursing. There's some pretty extreme violence, but it's not like a really super dark, grim tone like that. There's moments of levity and humor here and there. Sometimes stuff happens that's kind of funny.
I saw Deathstroke was in it, so that looked fucking cool.
Deathstroke is one of the best parts of this second season. Honestly, he's probably one of the best parts of the show overall so far.
Yeah, because the Arrow Deathstroke, I kind of liked him in Arrow Deathstroke, but like I've been hearing real good things about him in Titan.
I heard his costume in the Arrowverse is like fucking stupid. But,
yeah.
But like in this, it's on point. It's pretty much like Deathstroke. Yeah, like that's a modern looking version of Deathstroke.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And kind of cycling a little bit because I kind of want to get Andy's opinion. What was the better war games, the men's or the women's?
Men's.
Andy, what about you?
Yeah, it was the men's one.
I fucking dig the women's one. I think Rhea Ripley is fucking amazing.
It was good. I mean, it was cool that they got one, but the men's one was just better, I think.
Oh yeah, when fucking Adam Cole like died, I thought he died. I thought he was dead.
It was pretty. It was a pretty serious spot.
Didn't fucking Natalia's husband? Didn't he almost die like that? That's why he got like hurt and shit and almost paralyzed.
No, that's not the same kind of move or anything. It's just that like I saw the footage of what happened when that happened, and it was just like that was Samoa Joe doing his muscle buster.
Oh.
And it was just a case of the angle was a little too high when he came down on it. So it really was like he got dumped on the back of his head and shit.
Well, yeah, fucking Samoa Joe is like fucking huge. So that was another thing that was against him too.
If you go back and see it, you can see that Ciampa's kind of craning his neck in as far as he can, so that Cole's back takes pretty much the whole bump, like his back and his shoulders. So he pretty much protected him.
Yeah, I was like, Mamma Mia. But
his back's probably fucking sore, but yeah.
But if you guys want to listen to me and Zach talk about wrestling for about like a good 2 hours, make sure to watch some getting some color. We're gonna be doing some war games and probably Survivor Series.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I digress on that. Me on the other hand, I did a bunch of gaming and I finished Death Stranding, and I'm not gonna talk about it because these guys haven't finished it yet. But I met
Conan O'Brien, so I made progress.
That's kind of progress. I think I did that on the second day I got the game. But
you've been playing the fuck out of this game, apparently.
How many roads did you build, you bitch?
Oh man, I let the other people do that.
You rushed through it, didn't you? You didn't do that much extra stuff.
I'm gonna give you a quick opinion on that. The only thing I like building in any game is on Minecraft, and this game, I hate bringing all the resources and going through the mules and stuff, so that didn't really make me want to do it. I didn't want to steal the resources or find the resources or explore for the resources and carry these fuels that were fucking huge, and it made me almost drop all my stuff on the floor. So I just wanted to know the story because I was at a point in the game where I was about to say fuck this and just not play it anymore because, like I said, Act 1 and Act 2 is where I was like, this is a chore. I don't want to be delivering packages. I get it. I'm connecting the world, but then like Act 3 is where I'm like, "Oh, that's why." But that's all I'll say. So, when these guys finish the game and finish the story, I want to hear their opinions on what they explored and what they found and stuff because I'm probably going to go back and do some of that stuff. But my main thing is the story, and it made me be like, "Wow, Kojima, the story grew on me." Because I was about to be like, "Oh, this is fucking lame."
I see.
But enough of that. Let's get into like probably the most low rated Indiana Jones movie ever. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So another kind of epic intro, a little bit, but not as good as the other ones. Do you guys agree with that?
Oh, by far, it's the least epic of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's just I don't know. It starts out kind of weird, like in the first one, they're going through that jungle and he's finding that temple and stuff, and there's a lot of tension, and you're trying to figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has, like, in my opinion, the best reveal. Um, then
Russians.
there's yeah, in Temple of Doom, there's like he's in that fucking club and it's cool and he's all suave and shit, and it's just like different from the first one so much.
Mm-hmm.
And you got 3, where it's him as the younger version, and then he's on the boat. And this one, he's just kind of like, it shows some people driving on the road. They hot rod race a little bit because George Lucas is obsessed with that shit. And then it's just like he's there, and he's like, Russians,
Mm-hmm.
and he just looks confused.
Now,
Yeah, I don't like when you first see him. He's not being heroic. He's just like a confused old man. I don't like it.
And he should have said, "I hate these guys." God damn it.
mm-hmm.
He could have said, "Communists, I hate these guys." Or
That would have been more palatable, I think. Yeah, you could have got
Yeah.
away with that. I understand why I don't want him to say Russians, I hate these guys, but I just feel like he said that basically in so many words anyway. He's just it felt weird that he beat around the bush around it.
I think that one of my favorite lines in the movie is pretty much in the beginning where he's like, "Over my dead body," and he gets punched. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, over my dead body, comrade."
Yeah. And he says, "I like Ike," and all that other shit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, Harrison Ford still kind of saved a little bit of this movie, but there was times where, and if you're a first time listener, we jump around a lot. We always go through what we like and what we dislike. And the first thing that comes to mind when I go, "What the fuck is going on?" is when Shia LaBeouf is like swinging with the monkeys.
it's the worst part of the movie.
Yeah.
That is easily the worst part of the movie. We even came up with a better way for him to get back to everybody else instead. I said, like, why couldn't there just been like Russian dudes on motorcycles back there, and that would like feed into what his character's like, and he could have had a fight with motorcycle guy or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It would have been less stupid than swinging with cutesy monkeys, and it looks really fake and way too much CG and everything.
Yeah, it looks awful. It's dumb. It doesn't help the plot. It doesn't help the character. It doesn't help anything. It's just in there for children.
And I think that's where George Lucas comes in a little bit, especially with those fucking golfers or whatever those things were.
Prairie dog, yeah.
Because every time, like, something cute or like like, you see, like, a cute animal and it, like, brings back to the Ewoks from Star Wars, and I'm like, oh. And I know I said in Facebook, I was like, they even put like a Han Solo line where he's like, I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
And I personally don't think the chemistry between Shia and Harrison was great, not great at all. It just felt really awkward at times. And I think Shia as like that 1950s like biker dude just doesn't fit.
I thought it was fine. I was telling Zach, obviously it was a bad idea to watch it together because we get a lot of our thoughts out then instead of on the show. But I was telling Zach, my favorite part of the movie is like from when he's on the train platform. He's like, "You're running out of platform, Junior." And he's like, I need to talk to you." And they go to that diner. It's
Mm.
like from then until they get on a plane to Peru. It's like my favorite part of the movie. I like all that stuff. I really like the chase. I, I always laugh at when they're in the library and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm having trouble understanding this." And Indy's like, "Oh, you got to get out of the library." Stuff like
Yeah.
that. And the scene in the diner's great. He's like, "Hit this guy." He's what? Joe College hit him, and he hits the guy. Here, hold this. I like that whole thing. I like the thing with the beer. I don't know. So I guess I disagree. I think their chemistry's good. That's all the best stuff in the movie. I think Shia LaBeouf's okay. I've always liked him in other stuff
Hmm.
well enough. I don't think he's like stealing the movie or anything. I think he turned in a really good performance in this. Good enough.
I
He's got some good moments in here for sure.
I think this was because every time I think of Shia, I think of Even Stevens on fucking Disney Network, and I believe this pretty much was his first. I think this was his first serious role, right? If I'm correct. When was Transformers? When did that come out?
Transformers was before this movie.
Yeah, I think it was.
One moment.
Oh, Siri, fuck you.
I'm listening.
No, fuck you.
The fuck. But no, I think this was his first big role outside of Transformers. Like after Transformers boosted the fuck out of his career, his visibility, whatever the fuck you want to say.
Hmm.
But
Really surprised about John Hurt being in it. By the way, didn't notice it until pretty much the credits.
Nah,
I was like, that guy looks really, really fucking familiar.
he sucks.
And then I was like, 1984. This is the first movie that comes to mind with John Hurt. Um, what'd you think of Marion coming back?
Meh.
pretty much, I'm just like, oh, her. And then, like, I said this at the end of the movie where they're getting married and stuff. I was like, it just feels weird. I just don't feel like that would have ended up that way at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, they the first movie, they were like, oh, they love each other. You know, they like each other. And never got that serious. Did we get any backstory from Temple of Doom or the Crusade? Anything about Marion at all?
No, it never really came up. And, well, in Temple of Doom, that's before Raiders, remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. Fuck.
So, like at that point, yeah, whatever happened with Abner and her and everything had already happened, but it's never brought up
Mhm.
or referenced. And then Last Crusade, it's never brought up there either. So,
Yeah, and I thought like the progression, like first they were fighting, and then he's like, "Oh, you dated that guy? I introduced you to him," and then all of a sudden he's like calling her babe and all that stuff. After he found out that Mutt, by the way, which is Shia's character, what a name, Mutt was his son, and
well, his name's Henry,
yeah.
but he wants to be called Mutt. It's like being called Indiana. We named the dog Indiana. That same fucking thing.
Hmm. So I don't know. I just felt like maybe that's just Harrison being a womanizer, be like, babe, come here, and all that stuff. Maybe I was
Basically.
looking into it too much. But I also didn't care for Marion. I'm like, oh, she's back, and she's really, really old. Okay. Um, what'd you think of the fridge and the atomic bomb going off?
You mean the nuking of the fridge?
Yeah.
Um,
I don't hate it as much as everyone else does. I don't think.
Everybody lost their shit about that scene. And I don't know, it's just a fantastical scene. And Indiana Jones is full of a bunch of crazy shit. But the shot after he gets out's really fucking cool. And he's like staring down the nuclear mushroom cloud.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I thought it looked cool, but then my brain started going, he's not that far from the blast, though. Shouldn't he be, like, getting radio, like fallout sickness and all that stuff? Because he wasn't that far. He didn't get thrown that far out of the blast radius.
Yeah, but then the next scene, they're like scrubbing him down and stuff.
I guess.
Like I always say, just get him a Dr. Pepper. He'll be fine.
It was the 50s. Nukes weren't that devastating yet.
And and what'd you think of what's his fucking name? Was it Mac, the guy who's like triple crossed everybody?
Fuck him.
Waste of time. Get that character out of this movie.
That character could have not been in this movie, and it would have been better for it, honestly. And you would barely notice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He doesn't. I don't like what he contributes. He's dumb and stupid, and I think he makes Indy seem stupid. And the way he like the way he acts that character just makes me wish he was Bob Hoskins.
He said that when we were watching it, and I was like, he kind of even looks like him a little bit. It's like weird. Like, I don't know.
My thing was Marcus Brody was better than Mac, and he was a statue in this movie.
I like that part where his statue accidentally gets wrecked, and then like, yeah, Mutt's like fucking thinks it's funny, and he looks at him like Andy looks at him like he's really fucking offended. Like,
which is an interesting. I mean, I don't know if it's supposed to be a direct callback, but it's the same kind of dynamic that Indy has with his father in Last Crusade.
Yeah, when they're on the bike, and then he's
at him, and then he's like, "Oh, kid, I abhor violence."
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's a good one there.
The villain, the Russian chick,
Urana Spalko.
Ivana Spankoff.
I thought she was weird, and I get it that they were going for weirdness because, aliens and the crystal skull and all that, and mind reading and all that crap. But I was like, I don't give a fuck about her. Like, the other villains in the other movies had a somewhat better purpose than her. Hers was just like, I want to know about everything about aliens. It was kind of like she was a conspiracy theorist person just trying to uncover, like, Area 51 shit.
Yeah, she wasn't really like evil enough or conniving enough. Because like Belloc wasn't really out and out evil, but he was like a fucking backstabbing, grubby asshole. You know?
Mm-hmm.
He's like a really bad version of Indiana Jones, basically. But then, fucking Molaram is fucking evil and he loves it. It's amazing.
Super evil.
He laughs at you as he escapes through his trapdoor. And then you have in Last Crusade, it's fucking Nazis, and it's like a turncoat guy doing Nazi shit. He's like, I just want to live forever. Fuck everybody. Like, she was really, really mild compared to all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand her motivation. It's like she's driven by patriotism, and she wants to help the Soviet Union win the war or whatever. She needs a new super weapon because the Americans have the atomic bomb and Russia has nothing yet. But I don't know. I'm kind of with you. Like, her character was weird, but in some of the wrong ways. I thought the character's okay. There's a lot about this movie that is just okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't despise it, but I was like, man, this isn't as good as the other three movies were.
No, not by a long shot. But it's not like awful either.
And think about it, there might be a fifth one with 70-year-old Harrison Ford being Indy.
He wants to do it.
Well, he was fine as Han Solo in fucking Force Awakens. It was fun. It was good to see him again. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that felt that way.
Yeah, but
he finally died too. He finally got what he wanted.
Yeah, but Han Solo versus Indiana Jones, like Han Solo, he did like a few, running scenes, and then like the rest he's just sitting in the Millennium Falcon.
Just being a confused old man. That's what he does now, guys. He's typecast as a confused old man. He's a confused old man in this. He's a confused old man in Force Awakens. He's a confused old man in Blade Runner 2049. He's just a confused old man.
Thanks for spoiling that for me, by the way.
He's a confused old man in it.
You didn't have to tell me that.
The movie's like 2 years old. Get over it.
Fuck no. I can't watch every goddamn movie ever.
Do you think Indiana Jones is gonna die with a boulder or something? Like a boulder is finally gonna catch him?
What, like what'll crush him like at the beginning? He's just like, I can't run fast enough. Oh.
Maybe.
Oh man. I don't know.
Part time.
I thought the movie was okay. Like you just said. Decent action film. Probably made a lot of money because it was a new indie film.
I think it was hugely successful anyway, despite all the criticism and everything.
Mm-hmm. John Williams again with the score, like always. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah, the score is good.
I'm trying to think what I really, really liked about the movie. And it's really hard. I think the chase scene without the monkeys and stuff was pretty good. I think the only thing that was annoying was Shia doing the sword fight with the Russian woman. Actually, that whole fucking scene's garbage. I didn't like that one either.
A lot of it's a bit much because the thing about a lot of the other scenes in the Indiana Jones movies is either they're fairly grounded in the action at least, and then sometimes there's like one ridiculous moment in a fight or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he shoots those 3 guys on the tank and the bullet goes through fucking all 3 of them. He just looks at his gun like, what the fuck? Or I don't know, like the guy gets killed by the propellers. Just there's a crazy moment in every fight like that.
Oh, can
go ahead.
Can somebody explain to me why the Russian woman wanted the alien body? Like, what was the purpose of that?
To get a crystal skull.
Yeah.
Oh, there was more than one?
Yeah, she thought that it would be the same, but it wasn't. It was different or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's like distant cousin, perhaps, you know?
Perhaps they too were sent to find Agathor.
Yeah. Very nice.
The accents kind of were all over the place with the Russians.
By the way, you're biting into them wubby.
The way you're sinking your teeth in them wubbies. God.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. I think the only thing I really liked about the film was the 3 waterfall.
3 times.
Why'd you like that?
I don't know why, because Harrison Ford, Marion was like, "What does he mean by 3?" And he's like, 1, 2, 3.
It was kind of silly, but yeah.
You said you liked the line, oh, I'm sorry, I meant drop dead comrade.
Yeah.
I'm with Andy about the whole thing where
all the stuff in college.
When he gets back to America, he was in America when it started, whatever. When he goes back home, everything from there up to when they get to Peru, and I didn't mind the part where they were trying to figure out the weird fucking tomb or whatever the fuck when they found the skeleton and everything. I thought that stuff was pretty good too. It felt like old Indiana Jones stuff.
Mm.
You know, it was really when they got captured and then Marion showed up and then the chase through the jungle scene is when it started getting kind of silly again.
For some reason, I don't know why it stands out to me, but I really like the door, like the last door they have to go through when he holds the skull up to the doorway and it drops the 2 boulders and the door opens all cool. I don't know. I like that prop.
I didn't care for the ninja Indian people that were
I don't understand them. What are they?
I thought they were Viet Congs or something because they were just popping out of nowhere and shit.
Well, they're definitely not Indians because they were in Temple of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
I maintain that there's some kind of weird supernatural guardian people or something.
They have to be something like that. It's implied they're undead, unthinking things or something. I don't know. Especially when they come out of the wall in Octor or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and and then the Russians come fucking through and just annihilate all of them, the protectors of the Skull Island, pretty much.
Yeah, he just killed them all with guns. It was like, oh, that was easy.
And I think another good part in the film was when Indy's like tearing through the mummy, and he has like this gold like knife or sword, and him and Mutt are looking at each other. He's like, "Well, I'm gonna put it back."
He also just has you wouldn't have a knife, would you? Like, because he's a fucking greaser.
um,
My thought on that though is like, wouldn't Indy have his own fucking knife at this point? Like,
Right.
seriously?
Yeah, he really should. Like, if you're carrying a revolver, you could at least carry a pocket knife, you weirdo.
the quicksand scene where he has to hold on to a snake, and he's like, "Say it's a rope. Say it's a rope."
It's not quicksand.
That part was kind of funny, actually. There's a few jokes or funny moments that were got a laugh out of me, but then there were some that were just like, ugh. Like there's that scene when they're in the back of the truck and they're all arguing and shit.
Yeah.
And then the fucking guard's like, "Shut up!" Just, and then he like gets that knife and he like rips his fucking pants or some shit. I still can't figure out what happens there. There's like that weird sound effect. And he like looks up like what? Like they thought something really bad or embarrassing just happened.
Yeah, because Shiloh was like, "Oh no," or something like that. He said, "Oh no," and then Indy is like just got up and just freed everybody. I was like, "What happened?"
The scene is so weird.
There was another scene that I was just like, "What the fuck happened?"
I think that was a George thing. I think it was like he thought that noise sounded funny. He's got that sense of humor about him. It seems like.
Well, Steven. Let's put a rip pants over here. That'd be funny, right?
Do his pants actually rip though? He's like, no, that's what makes it funny. Like, and he doesn't even smile or anything. It's like he just explains the joke to him.
So, writing credits go to David Cope, George Lucas, Jeff Nathanson, and then characters were worked on by George Lucas and Philip Kaufman. So, interesting. George Lucas. A bunch of George Lucas, I felt like, was a part of this movie.
Well, I mean, Indy was originally George Lucas's idea.
Okay. And then he was like, "Steven Spielberg, my friend, direct the movie.
Let's do this together."
Do you guys have anything else to say about this movie?
Andrew?
No, not really. I mean, a lot of people say the death knell for a movie is when it's not really good, but it's also not awful. Like I mentioned, we watched Samurai Cop earlier, and that movie's like a fucking train wreck. But god damn it, it's so entertaining because of it. And if a movie's good, a movie's good. Of course, you're gonna want to watch it. But if a movie's just kind of in the middle, it's super forgettable. The only reason anyone remembers or talks about this movie is because it's an Indiana Jones movie. If this was like a Illinois Jackson movie and it's something they made up, I don't think I'd have remembered it even came out. So I don't know. The movie's fine. Like if you've watched all the others and you've never seen this one, it's worth watching once. There's a lot of really good moments in it, but it's just compared to the other ones, it's just such a pathetic, pale example.
I was just gonna say Illinois Jackson just sounds like the black version of Indiana Jones. I don't know why.
It might be. I think that actually is like a spoof on like Mad TV or something.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Hang on. I'm gonna Google it and see if anything comes up. There's Jackson County, Illinois. It's all I got.
Okay.
Maybe I did invent it. I don't know.
Kate Blanchett, who played the Russian chick, was the fucking elf in Lord of the Rings, the blonde chick or something. The one that like.
Yeah, that's right. The leader of the what else?
Yeah, she gave Frodo that fucking sword or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Interesting. And she has a thing with swords in Indiana Jones movie too. What the fuck?
She travels around with a case full of swords.
And she's a pretty big actress. She's been in all kinds of stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, she's been in a bunch of different movies. It's just like you don't always remember her. I feel like it's like, oh, she's just like a good character actor, I guess. But
Oh, she's doing a biopic with as Lucille Ball called Lucy and Desi. It's in,
ooh,
yeah, that's interesting.
that could be good, maybe.
She seems. I mean, she does look the part kind of a little bit. Oh well. Zach, what's your final thoughts on this movie?
It's all right. I had initially a more negative reaction towards it when I watched it, but I don't know. It had been like a really long time since I'd seen it last, probably when it was new. Uh, and this time I was like, it's okay. There's parts of it that are like pretty eye rolly, and some stuff that's just genuinely awful in it, but it's fucking damn sight better than the prequels are. Fucking all three of them.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. That's a low bar, but hey.
Well, like I said, I thought it was an okay film. Um, I think it's a one and done movie. You don't need to see it again.
It kind of is. Yeah, it's the one you're. Let's watch Indiana Jones. Okay, which one out of the three? Like that's how that conversation's always going to go.
Mm-hmm. Never one out of the four. One out of the three. The good three.
What about the alien one? No, there's no one with aliens. That never happened.
Oh yeah. Before we kind of like give our ranking on this, the final scene where the fucking skull goes goes on the fucking skeleton thing and the saucer goes away. I probably have to say this is probably one of the worst like paranormal scenes of an Indiana Jones movie ever. But that's just me, and I believe in aliens, by the way. And I thought this fucking ending scene, and if I remember correctly, Crystal Skull is a real thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mitchell Hedges skull.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Indy is correct when he says there's one in a museum in Britain, and there's a few of them scattered around the globe. I think there's one on display somewhere in Peru. Some of them are in private collections.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I thought the Russian chick is like, show me everything. I need to know. And then like the alien just said "fuck you, bitch," and like snaps his fingers, and like she goes up in flames.
Yeah,
And
but why though?
I what I'm probably guessing is when the skull was like talking to Ox and Indiana Jones, like I guess, and this is me just speculating that they were the good guys and she was the bad guy, and she was doing it for more bad reasons than what Indy and Ox were doing. So he's like, "Fuck it, you're dumb, and you're not archaeologists like us aliens." Because remember the part where Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones is like, they were archaeologists because they found all the stuff from all the generations.
I kind of figured it was more because it was just too much for her and she just vaporized like all the it's like when they were saying you stare at the skull too long, it fucks with you.
I always thought that too, but then the alien like scowls at her.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's
I think
weird.
he's just disgusted with her small brain.
Pathetic.
It's just pathetic. Honestly, that I'm with you, Dubs, on that. Like at all the supernatural events that happen, it's probably the least comprehensible of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't understand what happens. Like okay, you put the skull on the skeleton. There's a room. There's a throne room with fucking 10 skeletons or whatever the fuck, and they all have their skulls except this one.
And they all become the same being.
They all merge to revive into one alien, and all that shit happens. And I'm just like, I mean, at least I can understand that Ark's got the fucking wrath of God in it or whatever, and
Yeah.
those stones have fucking power and shit. I don't know.
I think what would have been really funny, but also stupid at the same time, because indie fans would have probably hated this. But you know how, like, in the beginning, the FBI is like, well, you're a commie because didn't you know your partner was a fucking communist or, a guy who turned on you. And that's when the general came in. He's like, I could vouch for Indiana Jones. Like after that, nothing happened with the FBI. Because think about it, that saucer goes away. They don't come back with. They come back with nothing. They just came back from coming out of the country. Wouldn't that make the FBI a little suspicious? Like, why did you leave America? We were watching you. And I think it would have been really funny at the end because you know how the government always knows about aliens crashing and landing and stuff. They think that Indiana Jones is like an alien, but that's just me being dumb. I love the silence. Thank you.
No, I was just thinking of something else about like we always Andy says he brings up red letter media a lot, but it's worth bringing up at this case here too. The whole thing with the crystal skulls is like kind of weird. Not everybody really knows about that.
Hmm.
It's not as ubiquitous as the Holy Grail or some of the weird Hinduism stuff in India, and yet fucking Cup of Christ and all that. They could have picked something a little better, maybe. I don't know what off the top of my head though. I don't know what.
I don't know. I think it was just a generation be like, oh, Roswell happened. This would be interesting if somehow we put aliens in it, and it could have worked. But I think all the cheesiness and all the comedy and all the even though there is comedy in Indiana Jones movie, I felt like there was way too much in this film.
Yeah, it tried a little harder for the comedy in this.
But I'm guessing we're all agreeing that this is at the number 4 spot
Yes.
in a ranking.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're all not recommending this movie.
I mean, I wouldn't if you were like, I want to watch this movie, I'd let you do it. Whatever. You're gonna make your own mistakes, but if you've never seen Indiana Jones, this is not where you go.
If I had a choice between Tommy Wiseau's The Room and Crystal Skull, I'm choosing The Room over.
Yeah, I'd choose The Room too. It's more entertaining. It's not a better movie. It's more entertaining.
All right. So I think we're gonna go into our main list. So Crystal Skull is automatically gonna go in the 4th spot.
Oh, you need to pull that up.
Crystal Light Skull.
Temple of Doom, we all agree, should be in the number 3 spot.
And again, I want to double down on Temple of Doom barely went into number 3 instead of number 2 for me. It changes all the time, but yeah, I'll stick with Last Crusade at number 2 for me.
Mm-hmm. Now, I guess we're gonna have a mini debate, but since we don't have a 4th to be make it a tiebreaker or make it even a bigger debate. Andy and Zach both have Raiders at number 1 and Last Crusade at number 2. I'm the only one that has Last Crusade at number 1.
I think your opinion is more popular. I think, generally speaking, more people like the Last Crusade.
Mm-hmm. I thought the duo of Harrison Ford and Sean Connery was great. I love fucking Marcus Brody. I think the Nazis in this one were much more better than the Raiders.
They're better Nazis. The Raider Nazis.
Than the Raiders Nazis. I liked the female, even though she was like a turncoat. She was an Austrian fucking Nazi or something like that.
Yeah, Schneider.
Yeah, I liked her. I never really liked Marion that much, but I liked Marion better in Raiders over Crystal Skull.
Everyone does.
Yeah,
she's almost like a totally different person in that movie.
Mm-hmm. The budget was definitely up in Crusade because of the popularity from the first 2 movies, and I just thought they had better scenes in Crusade over Raiders.
Sort of. This is like I said, most people would agree with you, and I can kind of see where you're coming from. West Crusade's got a lot going on, the Raiders doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But this is, I'm coming at this from the angle of I've seen all of these movies more than a dozen times, And Last Crusade is like a fun adventure and a super great movie, but Raiders like introduced all of this stuff, and they're still like the nougaty center of Raiders is still like a more pulpy, true to what they were trying to do adventure. I feel like than Last Crusade. Last Crusade's still a really good story and a great adventure, but I don't know. It feels different than Raiders in some weird way. Plus, Raiders has Belloc, who's the best villain in the whole series.
True, I'll give you that. Um, the villain compared to even though it was like just a bunch of Nazis, and I guess I forgot the guy's name that turned on the father and Indy. What the fuck was his name again? I should be knowing that name since I like this movie more. But
Oh,
Donovan.
shit, Donovan. Yeah,
yeah,
he's
I,
barely in it though.
Yeah, he is.
yeah. So I give you that the Raiders has a better villain. Um, Zach, what about you? What's your thing? Raiders versus Crusade.
Raiders feels very different from the other movies, all three of them really. I honestly feel like it's a lot grittier and a little and more grounded than what the others ended up becoming. Um, Even though it's still got that pulpy kind of feel to it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I like a lot more of the action scenes in that one compared to some of these others too. I mean, there's great action scenes in the others, but I like the fucking bar fight scene. You know, I like the fucking truck chase and everything, and going to that little makeshift airfield in Raiders. That's like probably one of my favorite action scenes ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like period. Um, and yeah, I thought like a lot of the cast was just stronger. I think the script's stronger in Raiders. Uh, like the trio of villain guys, even though there's like that colonel or whatever the fuck the Nazi commander guy in Raiders, he didn't really do that much stuff. But the SS officer is like fucking. I think his name's Taw or whatever or Toff.
Mm-hmm.
He's like super creepy and noticeable and everything. He always gets your attention whenever he's on screen. I think he's a really good understated villain.
Yes.
Um, See, I'm kind of on a stalemate. I don't know what to do, but I think what we can do is go to the IMDb meta score and popularity. And you guys would be surprised since Andy, you said that Crusade has more of a popularity.
I thought it did, and again, that's just like anecdotal. I feel like in my everyday life, people say they like Last Crusade best.
Mm-hmm. So Crusade got a meta score of 65, and their popularity is 987 compared to I don't know how to do that. I just know that it's in the red for popularity compared to Raiders, which their Metascore was an 85, and they're in the green, the arrow pointing up with a 599.
Well, that just means a general gain. It's like a stock thing that IMDb does.
Mm-hmm.
It just recently it has gone up.
Mm-hmm. So, so I guess we'll go with Metascore. I mean, it is popular, the Raiders, compared to.
Metascore for movies doesn't really mean necessarily that it's more popular. You know, that's just reviews.
There's a lot of
'Cause-
factors that go into it, especially considering older movies that existed before internet reviews.
Yeah. Like there's been, like The Thing was critically reviewed horribly.
Yeah.
And it's a great movie now. It took a little while for it to catch on, but
Anyway, we can look at it that way, or we can look at it as 2 votes versus 1. We win, you lose. Boo.
Yeah, I guess we'll go with that. So Raiders will be at 1, and The Last Crusade at number 2. So number 1 Raiders, 2 Crusade, 3 Temple of Doom, and 4 Crystal Skull. And that is Indiana Jones. And we are going to be getting into our Christmas special. I don't know what to name it yet. Maybe it's just going to be another fucking Christmas special.
Well, jingle my balls.
Jingle my
There it
balls.
is. This is Jingle My Balls.
So since Andy was quick on his movie selection, I think we'll start off with Andy's movie, which is
I want to watch Klaus. It's the brand new. Netflix does a new Christmas movie every year, and it's the one they did this year. It's from the same people who produced or developed or something Christmas Chronicle, which we watched last year. So, but this is animated. The animation looks killer, and it's got a bunch of voice actors in it. I really dig. It's got J.K. Simmons and Rashida Jones, Norm Macdonald, Jason Schwartzman. Should be fun. Should be a fun time.
yeah. By the way, since Christmas Chronicle, the last time I told you it was at like 171 downloads, it's at 192 now.
It's Christmas time. People getting geared up.
Yeah, they're actually downloading all our Christmas episodes. The White Christmas, Bill Murray, and even the one with the fucking dogs. The
Santa puppies or whatever.
Santa Paws.
Santa Paws. That was it. That was my choice too.
We call it. Me and Zach also picked. So I know Zach picked second. So after we finish Andy's movie, Zach, what is your movie you selected again?
Jingle All the Way.
And you never saw that movie?
No, I missed that one.
You never learned about putting cookies down?
That was a Kindergarten Cop.
No,
wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
No, Jingle All the Way.
Phil Hartman was
On the
eating.
phone, Phil Hartman's at his house. He's like, "Oh, your wife makes delicious cookies." He's like, "You eating my cookies?"
Oh, I'm confusing it with the scene in Kindergarten Cop where he's got the kid. He's like, "You're eating all the other kids' lunches. Stop it!" And he like shakes him. And he like the kid just drop the mouth. The fucking food just falls out of his mouth. God.
Fucking Sinbad is in this movie, so
Yeah, he is. This is I think Sinbad's best performance.
That's not saying a lot.
And fuck, what did I choose? Oh my god.
I already forgot. Something
I don't remember. Yeah, it was so unmemorable what you picked.
You should have put it on the thing. Oh, this is a bear. Wow, look how professional we are.
Oh god. I guess we'll get back to you on that.
Oh, I know I can remember it.
Hang on a minute. Yeah, let's think for a second.
It was almost Gremlins 2, and then we realized it didn't take place at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You backpedaled and said something else.
Oh my god.
What the fuck was it?
Was it serious? I don't remember it being serious at all.
I don't think it was.
No, I don't think it was a serious movie either. It wasn't like Miracle on 34th Street or whatever the fuck.
Let me go to movies genres here. Let me go to holidays because I was on Netflix.
Just keep this all in. Keep this in.
Oh, I am keeping this all in. Everything's raw.
Yeah, brother. Raw and uncooked. like that Fine Young Cannibals album.
Oh my god, I feel like an idiot.
I mean, we do too. We can't even fucking. I'm still gonna say it was really unmemorable, and that's why I don't fucking remember.
It was like the Santa Claus or Home Alone, Die Hard.
I mean, I would have remembered Die Hard. People say Die Hard like it's like a dog. You look up. Like
Yeah.
what?
Wait, who's talking about Die Hard?
Where?
Yeah, because I remember doing Sam I Am and shit because I was looking at Green Eggs and Ham.
Right.
Oh, Ernest goes to fuck.
That's it. Yeah.
It was Ernest. Yeah, okay. I mean, we just said Ernest. Yeah, Ernest, and that was it. Like that was literally the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't dwell on it at all.
Ernest Saves Christmas, which I believe is the first Ernest movie.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the best Ernest movie is Ernest Scared Stupid, but we already passed Halloween.
Yeah, I that's the one I watch. I never watched the Christmas one, so I chose a film that I never watched. So
I think we all did.
yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. So remember to watch Klaus on Netflix. Klaus on Netflix, and then come back and we'll talk about it here. But before we sign off and everything, there actually is news. I know we talked about it last episode. We were like, man, I don't think Joker should have a sequel. Or I believe Zach said there should be because we never really got to see Joker.
Are you going to report a fucking clickbait, speculative, non-confirmed BuzzFeed article to us right now? Is that what's happening?
I thought it was confirmed. I thought the director and Joaquin Phoenix are confirmed.
All right, cite your sources.
Radio.
The radio doesn't exist. It's 2019.
Last
Those
I
are
heard,
all just old radio broadcasts that are bouncing off Jupiter. There's no actual radio stations anymore.
last I heard about this was Joaquin Phoenix is all about wanting to do another one, and the director, I can't remember his name right now.
All I did was Google Joker sequel confirmed. The first hit, Joker sequel not happening, confirms director Todd Phillips. The internet was flooded with Joker sequel theories immediately after the release of the movie, but sadly no sequel's coming, confirms director Todd Phillips 2 days ago.
Yeah, Todd Phillips is saying he doesn't really want to do another one, but like,
I mean, he's already made sequels before. What's his problem?
I don't know. He feels like this is like a one and done thing, and maybe if that's actually how he feels about it, maybe they shouldn't pursue it anymore.
Oh, they're gonna pursue it.
His opinion has got to carry weight on this deal.
I mean, if they're going to throw a bunch of money at him, and then he'll be like, "Okay, I'll try." Maybe, I don't know. If I feel like if he really doesn't want to do it, they shouldn't do it.
See, Joker sequel not happening, confirms director Todd Phillips 1 day ago. Phillips confirms that Joker sequel not happening 1 day ago.
Okay, Andy, the radio was wrong, okay? Is that what you want?
He said there's not even a contract. They haven't even talked about this shit yet. Like, I think that's what I last remember hearing him say. But, yeah. I don't know.
Radio. Get out of here. Did you get the latest news on the Kaiser running rampant in Belgium, too?
Fucking radio has failed me.
I got a telegram about it.
I'm gonna call him up tomorrow. Be like, you fuckers suck, dude.
I got news.
What?
That new Star Wars game from EA that Dubs does not want to get, or he's like, I can't get it. I should get. I don't know. It's doing very well. Apparently, it's selling.
Yeah, apparently it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might get the EA access, so I'm not really spending the fucking $60.
Oh yeah, so instead of supporting the one game, you're just going to support the company and their crazy practices.
Damn you!
Come on, Dobbs, just buy the game.
Fucking Andy. Andy's full on.
I'm really giving Dubs the business this episode.
I feel like Seth Rollins right now.
You're gonna start complaining and shit, calling everybody stupid, and telling them they suck, and
taking food off of my table.
Yeah, you're taking food off my table when you guys screw up, and I'm gonna have to burn it down for you.
I think I'm gonna put that on my Christmas list.
I got a buddy that has it. He's been playing it, and he tells me it's very good. And he's super skeptical of EA and shit like you are too.
Mm-hmm.
So that says enough for me. It's a fucking good game. He admits it is.
You know what sucks? Every time I go, I'm gonna boycott something, and then all of a sudden, like, a game comes out and it's like actually genuinely good.
Yes, you and the rest of the internet. We're gonna boycott something. Ooh, a new Star Wars game.
You're that guy.
Guys, fucking Andy has turned full on MJF right now.
He's turned heel on you. I don't know. That's why I always think boycotts don't work anyway. Who fucking cares? That's why. That's my.
Jobs just consume product, then get excited for more product.
Fuck you, dude. I think it's more.
You're just gonna go see Knives Out?
No.
Ryan Johnson?
No.
You're fucking up. I heard it was good.
No. I mean, honestly, I don't really care. I don't know.
I heard it was good.
I keep hearing it's good too, but then I don't know. There's still people that voraciously defend The Last Jedi to this day for some stupid reason. I don't understand why they're so fucking pissed off that they have to defend it so much.
I read something really interesting on Reddit about a bunch of people who are like pissed off about Knives Out, and when you look into it, it's just because of Last Jedi. Like they're still pissed off about Last Jedi, so they're about this completely different movie 2 fucking years later. Oh, it's great. I love it.
I hate that shit. Yeah. Stupid as fuck.
Did we talk about we did talk about
Last Jedi, yeah, I think a little bit.
No, hang on a minute. We have to talk about this right now.
Did we talk about what, Dubs?
I know we talked about the endings they tried out and all that stuff, but I know they were trying out other screenings or something still, and apparently people have been walking out on the ending.
I just, whenever people say test audiences did blank, my brain goes, who cares? I'm disregarding this information. It's test audiences, man. They don't, I don't know, maybe. It could indicate something bad. I know that they tried 3 different endings and they all tested poorly. So it just makes me wonder, like, what they think they're gonna try. I think what they want to do is close the door on this. They say, "Oh man, we made a little bit of a mess here. We're gonna close this, and we're gonna focus on like everyone loves the Mandalorian. We're gonna do more shit like that."
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's gonna happen.
I had a theory, and it's gonna sound stupid, and it's probably not gonna happen. But you know how like the Mandalorian, they're having like a big fucking cute fest on like how Baby Yoda looks and everything and all that crap.
Yeah.
So J.J. Abrams came out with an interview, I believe, like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and he was like, "We're gonna try something different in Star Wars. It's gonna be fucking bonkers or something." I think that's the exact words.
Fuck it or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, and
He did say something like that.
yeah, and he's like, and if I remember correctly, the only thing that Star Wars has never done is time travel.
Oh, you've said this.
And here's my theory. And I know all the Star Wars nerds are going to be like, well, Yoda would have known about the baby Yoda and all that stuff. The baby Yoda in The Mandalorian somehow finds something where it time travels to fucking all the way back before episode 1 and shit. And that he's actually the real Yoda. Boom, stupid idea. Don't care.
I'm gonna, as long as we're making predictions, I'm doubling down that Darth Vader turns up in the 3rd act.
Mm-hmm. Zach, you have any ideas? Any stupid ideas like me?
Not really. I am just usually kind of a wait and see what happens in this kind of stuff. I predict that the reception for this movie is going to be really all over the place, just because of the fatigue and the damage that the brand has taken.
Well, that's definitely going to happen. It's more fun if you predict something in the story, so that when it comes out, one of us can be right.
I don't know. I can't do that like I can in wrestling. I can't do that for some reason. I just don't like doing it.
The Undertaker's gonna kill Ray.
How many lesbo scenes will there be?
None.
Oh,
There.
What a bold prediction.
Well, I think aren't they shooting for the God, I don't even remember the fucking names anymore. The Poe, I guess Poe and Finn.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah,
That's not lesbian. That's gay.
No, they were teasing about a gay relationship between him and Finn.
I don't know if they were or not. Like, I feel like it's just people taking shit too far. Like,
Yeah, I think so too.
Like it's what they want. It's like wishful thinking kind of shit that they project onto the film.
Mm-hmm. And I don't care if they do that. Who gives a shit? As long as it's a good story.
Put a gay character in Star Wars. I don't care. Just write them well.
Yeah.
There already was one. It was called C-3PO.
Yeah, but now he's gonna.
He doesn't have.
He doesn't have shit. He's asexual. Fuck it.
I did say he just now. So
you did say he. He has a male voice.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I guess
it's a male robot. Okay.
I mean, he is gonna have a gun in the final. Well, this Star Wars movie. This one.
C-3PO is gonna kick some ass.
He's gonna go into the Millennium Falcon.
And he's gonna fuck it.
Oh no.
All right, guys. I think we'll end the episode here on on that fucking note right there. If you want to watch more Big Trouble Little Podcast where we talk about games and movies, make sure to go to novnetwork.podbean.com. We also do a wrestling podcast, me and Zach. We do Getting Some Color. We're going to be
Whatever the Nemesis Project. When are you doing that again?
very soon because I'm actually getting more technology so that I could record because my PlayStation is all the way over there in the living room.
Did you get an 8-track player, Grandpa?
I got Betamax to record my gameplay.
I bought myself one of the new Sony camcorders. Now I'm going to record it right off the screen.
I used to do that back in the day on YouTube because I didn't know how to work a fucking capture device because I was a fucking noob. But anyway, if you want to watch them Getting Some Color, where we're going to talk about NXT War Games and Survivor Series coming up, make sure to watch it on NOV network.podbean.com. But until next time, everybody remember to watch Klaus, however you fucking say it on Netflix.
Klaus.
Yep.
It's just Klaus.
Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Later.
Yes, please do.
Eat food.
Thanks for listening.